Hi, good evening, good Friday, everyone. This is Coach Chris. I am Coach Chris, and I'm so elated. Oh man, we made it. We made it to the end of the work week for many of us, and I tell you, I look forward to our time of just touching bases and getting to connect with each of you. I am living life just like the rest of you. So my days are full, they're busy, they're eventful. Life happens this week. Man, this week was a very, very challenging week for some people who are close to me. Someone that was very dear in my life from my childhood passed earlier this week, and um, every waking moment, their family is on my mind and on my heart, and just flashbacks and memories of very significant moments in my childhood, in my young adulthood, in my adulthood, in my professional life where this person was there, their laughter, their their smile, their wit, um, just very, very endearing thoughts. And we lost that person this week. They transitioned on. So uh, those thoughts are on my mind. Received word that uh, another individual, I don't know them directly, but they're a friend of a friend. Their house got burned down. Oh my goodness. Just so many things happening in life. And I know the same is true with just about every one of us. There are things that are transpiring, things that are happening that are beyond our control. And so these moments and these times that we get to spend with one another are so precious to me. And I'm here because I believe very strongly that they're just as significant for you as well. We're going to get into Forward Focused Fridays. Forward Focused Fridays is the little catchphrase for our Fridays that just is a reminder to us not to look back, not to look back, not to uh, overly attach ourselves to things that were, the things that have been, the things that have passed, the things that have already transpired. But Fridays are a day that we really ensure that our focus is forward. This week is behind us. Everything with it, everything that came, good, bad, or ugly, it's behind us. Now, are we still going to deal with or have to work through certain things? Absolutely. Uh, but the funny thing about time, it keeps on moving. it keeps on moving, and it would behoove us to move right along with it. And so that's what I want us to focus on a little bit today on our forward focused Fridays. How to let go of, in what ways are we able to, or do we find that empower us to distance ourselves from the past, from the things that have transpired, whether it was 10 minutes ago. And I know that may seem, that's like a little tight of a window there, 10 minutes, that's still in the now. But whether it's 10 minutes ago, a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, a decade ago, a lifetime ago. The past has its place, what we have experienced, what we have enjoyed, what we have lived through, all served its purpose in that time or in its time. And we celebrate the victories and we learn from the challenges. We learn from them. We take lessons, not losses, but we do take lessons. I love whoever it was that first introduced that thought process to us that taking an L is not a loss. Taking an L is just indicative that we have learned something, that we are wiser, that we are stronger, that we are better equipped as a result of having gone through it. But there are times that we go through things, that we experience situations in our lives and circumstances that are beyond our control, and it catches us or it hits us a little differently. It hits us a little differently, and we have the proclivity of getting stuck there, sitting down in that space, then falling out, laying out in that space, waddling in that space. And I would introduce to you the thought that it's okay for a moment. We're human, we're not robots, right? So if we experience something or have encountered or experienced something in life, I'm not saying, oh, just get over it, just get over it. No, that isn't what I'm saying. That's not what I share with my clients. But I do share that there's a healthy amount of time that we grieve, that we reflect, um, that we use that time to go through that process. But then there's an appointed time for us to begin to reemerge and for us to begin to take steps forward again, to push forward again, and to move on. And so on this forward focused Friday, the reminder to you is for you to evaluate yourself today. A lot of what I do on the live broadcasts have to do with self evaluation. Evaluate yourself, and identify if there are any areas of your life where you have gotten stuck. It may have been an experience, a hurt, a disappointment, rejection, abandonment, whatever the negative impact of that thing was, or the positive impact. It may be a victory, an accomplishment, something that we can, wear a badge of honor and say, well, I was there, or I lived through this, or I did this. On either end of that spectrum, you still do not want to get stuck, whether it's positive or whether it was a challenge to you. What forward focused Fridays remind us of is that there is still so much life to live, so much life to live. So we don't want to kick back and lay back and say, oh, well, I had this great victory 42 years ago. I crack myself up sometime. But seriously, I've run into folks like that. They're talking about what happened 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 10 years ago. But one of the greatest concepts that I've heard in recent days, I would say within the last year or so, is that your last accomplishment can limit you. You've got to embrace that moment. You've got to acknowledge that moment, celebrate that moment, but then you don't want that moment in time to limit you, because your next greater, even greater accomplishment is in your future and not in your past. I'm going to say that again. Your greatest accomplishment isn't in your past, it's in your future. So, as we wind down the work week this Friday, and I know everyone's work schedule is a little different nowadays, it's not like it was, again, 40, 30, even 20 years ago. But on this Friday, here's the reminder to not plant our flag in any given accomplishment or challenge that we have experienced in life. It is time for us to focus and cause our focus to be forward focused. Forward focused. I recently went through something challenging myself. Let me share this with you. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I want to say, just some very, very challenging, a very, very challenging matter was introduced to me, and it popped up in my life, and oh my goodness, I had a reaction to it. I don't know if you've ever been in that place where it's like, oh my God, this is happening. And then you have like this huge reaction. I had a reaction to it, and I found myself just really praying and praying, and it just didn't move. It just didn't budge. And so I smile a little because I'm going to share something with you. Because this is how I get through. This is how I get through those challenging moments, and it's only beneficial to you that I go on and share the details, because of my faith as a believer. I have a biblical worldview, and because of my understanding of spiritual warfare, I realized after maybe day 3, day 4, this thing was still so heavy, heavy on my heart and heavy, heavy on my mind. And I'm praying and praying and interceding and pleading and confessing and professing the word, and it would just each day just hit me hard as though it was fresh all over again. And then there came a moment I said, look, you're not going to torment me with this thought. Sometimes you just have to take authority in that moment and say, okay, you've cried, you've wallowed, you've um, expressed how you feel about it, you've cried out, you've prayed and cried, as Donnie McClurkin said in his song. You've prayed and cried, and you've prayed and cried. You've done all the things, but there has to come a moment in your life when you look in the mirror, you square your shoulders and say, this thing is not going to take me down. I am not going to allow this situation, this set of circumstances, this experience to wipe me out. I refuse to let it torment me. I refuse to let it get me off track. I refuse to let it get me off focus. And we cast our eyes toward the future, toward what's ahead of us. We cast our focus forward so that we can continue on our journey. Now, each of us that are here in this space right now, if you're under the sound of my voice, we are in this time and space together. We each have our own set of situations, our own set of experiences, our own set of challenges that we're experiencing or have experienced in life. And let me just share with you, it's a part of life. No matter how devastating, matter how phenomenal, it all is a part of life. But as you are breathing and living, as you're listening to me in this moment, what I would love to introduce to you and what I am encouraging you to recognize is that your greatest days are ahead of you. And you may be the person saying, oh, well, Coach Chris, you just don't know. I have just had the best season of my life. I'm at the top of my game. Everything that I touched is turning to gold. And that's wonderful. I celebrate you. I applaud you. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I share in your joy. I share in your excitement. But even you, your greatest days are not the accomplishments of yesterday. Your greatest accomplishments and your greatest days lay ahead of you. So on Forward Focused Fridays, what do? We evaluate where we are. We evaluate whether we're stuck. We evaluate whether it's time for us to shake the dust from our feet and move forward. Fridays are such an incredible time because the weekend is right ahead. We have plans. Some of our plans are just to get some rest. Some of us have to work, especially when you work for yourself. Some of us have vacations or fun time or family time or whatever the case may be. This is a time. Friday is the best time in my according to what I'm sharing with you. Friday is one of the best times to just evaluate yourself, see where you are, see what progress you have made in your life, and then cast your focus forward. Listen, walk in forgiveness. Let go of stuff that has been burdening you, hindering you, setting you back, weighing you down. Let it go. Oh my goodness, if I were to have another little phrase for Friday, it would be Freedom Friday. How about that? Freedom Friday. Set yourself free on Fridays. Cast your focus forward on Fridays. Focus forward, forward focus, Freedom Friday, however you want to say it. But this is a day for you to just free yourself so that you can be yourself, so you can be the highest and best version of yourself. The season is over, my friend, of being burdened down, of being hindered, of being shackled, of being prevented and held back from you being the highest and best version of yourself. This is Coach Chris. Our time seems to go so fast. I trust that you got something out of what we shared today. I look forward to meeting back up with you on Monday for Making Moves Monday. I look forward to that. And next week, enjoy your weekend. Remember that you are the most important person in your life. Love yourself, take care of yourself, prioritize yourself, and everything else in your life will fall into place. This is Coach Chris. I love you. Have a phenomenal weekend. And I look forward to us talking again really, really soon. Bye-bye.